What's going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to another SLA video. Guys, before we start the video, I want to remind everybody in 3 days the content creator program is coming back. Unfortunately, the support button is gone. That's right, they removed it accidentally. I don't know if it's an accident for real, but for those who have been supporting and continue wanting to support, you'll have to wait, unfortunately, until the new season is starting, and that's going to be starting very soon on July 1st. So make sure, guys, you do hit that support button when it's back. For those who did support during the time that it was available, you're good. So I'll be sending out codes, guys, throughout the entire season. Probably looking forward to 5 to 6 codes, and hopefully there'll be really good codes coming your way. And with that being said, let's get into the video itself and talk a little bit about the best builds for Sun Jinwoo and things you should expect for hard mode, plus everything else in general for Sun Jinwoo. So first off, we're gonna only focus on him. Okay, so we're gonna maybe do other builds going forward on other things, but I'm gonna just talk about him in general right now in terms of stats, in terms of what you want to look for, best skills, best weapons in terms of elements, gear, cores, etc. Right? We're gonna talk about it all essentially. Okay, so in terms of stats, guys, there's gonna be specific things you want to build for specific bosses. So for example, on guild boss, you actually want to have a little bit more intelligence. You're looking at 550 for specifically right now, especially for fire build, because you want to be able to cast your fire kick as much as possible within the 2 rotations that is going to have overload in it. So for guild boss, it's not going to be the same as, for example, Lagaya, right? So let's break it down a little bit based on what you want to do. So for example, fire element, you want to go intelligence as much as you possibly can, up to about 550 usually helps out. In this rotation, I can do 2 fire kicks, both within the overload time periods. When it starts in the beginning and right before it ends, you're able to do that. So 550 intelligence, 644 strength, and I don't even worry about perception, any of that stuff. All that stuff is no problem. But when you are running Lagaya hard mode, this isn't going to be as important anymore. You're actually going to want to put more strength and more into precision. Now, precision, personally, I try to hit around 87 to 89%. You see, I'm 82 only for guild boss, is not required as much. But in terms of stats, I would put more strength, more into perception, and a little bit less in intelligence. And honestly, if you are lacking crit damage, you might want to put some in agility. It does actually help. Now, when it comes down to the other stats, attack roughly about 116k, or sorry, 116. Yeah, that's usually what I have it at. 120 is ideal. So that this is my pure free-to-play account, guys, just so you're aware. Okay, and this is of course for crit rate. You're gonna want roughly about 12,000 crit rate. I got only a 10k. Again, this is on the guild boss, so it's a little bit different, runs a little differently. But if you do put in some extra stats into agility, and it'll give you more crit hit damage, which you want roughly about 200%, and it gives you a little bit more crit hit rate. But you can see down here on defense pen, I got 56,000, which is pretty insane for guild boss, and that's what you're looking at. But you can reduce that a little bit further down to 52-ish, more to 50-ish with Lagaya. Hard mode might be a different story, but right now you still want to hit 50%, and then for damage increase, you want roughly about 25%. Now, when it comes down to actual gear, the best gear in the game currently for him is still going to be the poison set. This is the one that everyone's going to be using no matter what. And now that they've made him a more powerful DPS for team modes, even on guild bosses, you're no longer using a support version of him. You are in fact using a DPS version of Sun Jinwoo in order to get that done. Now, when it comes down to cores, the first one you always want to use is crit. That's right, guys. The extra 10% crit is a flat passive increase, which means it's not having any diminishing returns, or it is not affected by the boss's level. So this is a very important one. This is like pretty much having Igris on your team as your shadow, but this 10% is mandatory for Sun Jinwoo, and I would not change that. Over here, you can do ultimate skill grants shield up to 10%. There's also a basic skill one you can use. So this one here is just more up to your preference and how you want to play. And then down here, I always use this one specifically, which decreases MP rate by 10%. This is very important, especially if you're using the brand new weapons for the win, because they do consume a lot of MP. This is a big one. So these are the 3 best cores that I currently use. This one again can be alternated to various things. And this one here can be alternated a bit, but ideally this one never changes. You want the crit for sure 100% of the time, and never want to change that. Okay, now when it comes down to overall skills, I'll cover the best skills in the game currently. I believe I'm covering these correctly. If I'm wrong, please let me know in the comment section. Also, guys, while I'm doing this, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit those notifications. We got more content coming your way, plus a brand new patch. So when it comes down to fire, we're doing detonation over here, and we're doing the fire kick. Those are the 2 best. You're gonna stick with those for quite some time. When it comes down to water, you want to either use we have cold ice over here, and I believe the water kick is still the best move in the game for water. So there you guys go. Those two are probably the best ones to use. When it comes down to light, it's got a couple different options. Double down is fantastic still. You also have yourself right over here, electric shock, which still works extremely well. And then also, honestly, you have the light kick as well too, which works works really well. So 3 of those are fantastic. Feel free to use any of those 3 that you need, whether it's DPS, break, or overload. And don't forget, guys, pretty much everyone will need these phantom strikes. I'm not even putting them in the list because they're mandatory pretty much almost across the board when it comes down to running any of the single modes. This is a mandatory. Like, each and every single one of these are going to be required, especially when an overload weapon comes out for each one. So pretty much choose this, and then between there, choose any of the other skills, unless you're doing guild boss, which teams, then you can use the 2 combinations that I mentioned. But this is a mandatory, guys, pretty much for every single run, right? So for wind, you can use, of course, armor break, and then you also have yourself high speed rotation, depending if you're using Stormbringer or not, and then also the ability to use wind kick, which I don't think is really that good. And of course, thunderstorm is massive the amount of DPS. Another really honorable mention here is still going to be Wind Shroud, which does pretty darn well. Now, when it comes down to Dark, this one's a little bit all over the place right now. Dark doesn't have a kick move, which is really, really interesting. So you're gonna use the Phantom Strike, the Silent Strike here for sure. Dark actually has a couple different ones now that are pretty decent. You have yourself Eruption here, which does really well because it gives you guys more core attack. That's right, core attack, especially because the weapons you use with this one is going to be the Winchester Rope, which has all core attack damage, and you of course use Transfiguration Key. So it's actually going to just be Silent Strike and this, and honestly, sometimes you can get away with using this one over here, which is, you know, Rest in Peace Magnifying Slashes, which isn't bad still, but it's not great. But overall, you're probably using the Silent Strike, and you're going to be using right over here the Eruption move, which is going to give you probably the best results when it comes down to the weapon combinations that you plan to use. All right, now when it comes down to the blessings, there's a lot of different blessings you can use. Still, some of the best ones are going to be Bloodlust, Mana Rampage. Pulverize is pretty much useless now. Nobody uses this anymore. Got rest in peace to that as well too. Honestly, the weakness detection has been fantastic. We have the ability of Boss Slayer, which is great. What else do we have here? We have, of course, Sharp Perception, which is a mandatory one. Everybody should be using that one. We have ourselves Power Surge, which gives you 30% more HP when your HP is maxed, especially with the amount of shields that we have. And then for BOTs, you have things like this here, that the Ricochet and stuff with the amount of MP. So that, and then of course, if you're running a lot of supports, We Are One is fantastic as well too. So these are all the really good ones here. Okay, so definitely want to use that, guys. And these are important ones because they will give you the most amount of damage output as possible. Now, when it comes down to defensive ones, you want to use anything that gives you more shield. So Dual Guard is fantastic here. Even the Weapon Resonance is pretty damn good. You of course want to use Life right over here, and then of course you have yourself, where is it? There it is. Okay, aggressive defense. So all of these ones are all shield related ones. If you can keep at 100% and use Power Surge, this is the best amount of defense you can have on here, especially with shields occurring non-stop pretty much, right? Now, when it comes down to weapon combinations, pretty much straightforward, guys. Rogue, so again, this is my free-to-play can, so I apologize, I don't have it all. But this combination here of the Moonlight Gale and the Soul Menaceur, of course, are the best win combination now. Honorable mention, of course, will be the Moonlight Gale with the right here, the Stormbringer. Very good combination. Will not be enough, I think, for hard mode personally, but it's there. When it comes down to fire, of course, is going to be the Spear right over here, and Ino's Roar. Ino's Roar. Inio, that's correct. I always mess that one up for some reason. All right, there's that, and then of course for dark, it's always going to be the Rogue and the Transfiguration Key until that changes. And then for light, we have the Himmel Sword at A5. Again, free-to-play players, you can do this if you follow my guide. Go back and check it out. You can see how you can get A5 on this. And the Phantom Blade, and also honorable mention, of course, is still going to be the Staff. It's still fantastic for this weapon. And then for water, we have ourselves the Alon's Orb with the Scythe. So those are going to be your best when it comes down to combinations of weapons for each of the elements. Did I miss one? We got dark, water, light, fire. No, we're good. So that's pretty much it there, guys. So those are the combinations of weapons you want to use, and feel free to use any of the combination of skills that I mentioned. The ones that really are dependent are going to be the dark ones, and those are the ones you absolutely want to stick to. So that pretty much covers all of Sun Jinwoo's stuff, guys. When it comes down to his supports, I'm probably going to make a separate video for supports for him, because there's different supports that do different things. And then for shadows, honestly, there's different combinations of shadows you can use based on the content you want to do. Bestie, Igris are still the two best shadows he pretty much has on his entire team, but there are other combinations you can combine to make pretty good outputs. Now, with Greed coming in as a shadow, this may of course change everything, but right now that is the current meta going on. Now, with that being said, let's finish the last part here. Bro, why does this suck? I'd never have good luck in anything in this game. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.